Welcome back to the show. Great to have you with us. Thanks to the Brewery Fresh Carlton Draft. We're very lucky here on the front bar. People say yes to come on the show. Some great football people, and our next guest is no exception. A great football family he comes from. A terrific footballer in his own right. Of course, has gone on to be a magnificent coach. Premiership coach of the drought-breaking Western Bulldogs of 2016. He's a terrific fella, and we're very lucky.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. Please make him welcome. Luke Beveridge, everybody.
Sorry, Luke. Sorry. Stop.
It's running out of superlative.
Stop.
What?
That is not how you introduce Luke Beveridge on a TV show.
It's a bit bumbly, but it's all right.
I'm going to have to ask you to learn from the master. Very first time, Gary Lyon. This is how you do it.
Oh.
Good morning and welcome, boys and girls, to the AFL Squadron Show. This morning I've got a very special guest from the Melbourne club, a young heartthrob down at Demonland, Luke Beveridge. Welcome to the show, Luke.
Thanks, Gary.
Great to have you with us, Luke. Terrific.
Let the games begin after that.
It's going through puberty there.
Heartthrob. Gary was very keen on how attractive you were to the ladies and a bit of a heartthrob.
Do you remember that? Do you remember going on that show? How old are you there?
Oh, I'd like to think I was about 14, but I was informed out the back that I was 21, so a late developer.
The AFL Squadron was a show, for the younger fans of football. And Luke, by the way, we'll get to your playing days. The kids loved watching you play football. Have a look at this guy in the back, young kid there. You got the ball.
What did you do? What's happened to him?
They might have had a bit of wind that night.
Before we do get stuck in, we're pretty keen to find him.
We'd like to see him.
Yeah, we'd like to make sure that he's okay. If you do know who that kid is, can you please let us know via any of our social media platforms? We'd very, very keen to...
Take us through the playing days, Andy.
Well, 3 clubs. You played significant footy for all of them. You were a tough, skillful, clever rover, good around goals. I hope this doesn't come out negative, but why couldn't you establish yourself?
Well, Jakovic said...
that as good a kick on the loot as anybody he's ever played with. So you played 42 at Melbourne, 31 at Footscray, 45 at St Kilda. Why couldn't you go on to play 100+ at any of those clubs, Bevo?
I wasn't good enough, I don't think.
No, but you must have been good enough. I mean,
Friendly question, Andy.
It was a friendly question.
No, look, I had my day in the sun. I think at all the clubs I'd played at had strong midfields and big guns trying to knock it out of my hands. It's the only spec I ever took. And I could play forward, so...
This is your last game against the West Coast Eagles, and they clearly loved you at St Kilda. I mean, they take the chair off. They sung the song for you twice here. Have a listen to this, Bevo.
Sing it one more time for Bevo.
Yeah, that's just Tim feeling guilty about giving me the lemon and sauce. So.
I think that's just because under Tim they won so seldomly, he wanted to hear the song twice.
Your granddad was a premiership player at Collingwood, so we've talked, briefly about the 3 clubs he did represent. Did you ever harbour ambitions to play for the Pies?
Not really. I think I've said before, I had my idols when I was a kid. Trevor Barker was my first, and I followed the Saints. And then when Barks was finishing up, I loved Peter Dacos, and Johnny, my older brother, had Ray Shaw's number on his back, and Mum used to put the white bit across the black and white stripes, the number 35, and I loved Dacos. After we played Collingwood the first time when I was at the Demons, I had to go up the other end and shake his hand, just to feel the flesh, because I loved him so much.
What about Trevor Barker? What about why did he become so important a figure for you?
I lived in East Bentley, and Moorabbin was 4K up the road, and Dad worked for the Saints, and I was fortunate enough to meet Barks when I was a kid, and just the flamboyance and the courage and what he did as a player. I think a lot of kids idolised him, and he's a good-looking man, a lot of charisma.
Yeah,
and
like yourself.
Yeah. When I was 20. But yeah, I was infatuated with Trevor, and it's all I ever wanted to do was play VFL footy at the time, and then AFL as it came to be. So, and Barks is just one of my early inspirations.
Unbelievable player.
Yeah.
Peter Dacos, but I did read a quote, though, Luke, where you just said, as a player, you survived rather than prospered. And people who saw you play would think there's a bit of false modesty going on there, you know what I mean? But then I did see you play and survived as being generous. But the thing is, I wanted to say that you mentioned Peter Dacos, Luke. What a thrill for you.
Yes.
And one of the honours of your career. It's a great... Mate, you played 118 games. Let's not forget that. You were named in the Greek team of the century.
Which is segued into that, haven't I?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, we got there eventually, mate. But, you know, mate, it's, have a look at...
What are your bona fides?
How'd you get in?
How do you get into the
We
Greek?
lived at home with his parents till he was 40. How did you get in that team?
Well, my mum's father, Alec Nicolo,
Yeah.
was born on the... I don't know much about him. I've never been to the island, but he was born on Samos, and one of the Greek islands. And so I'm literally a quarter Greek, half mum. And, mum's maiden name is Nicolo, obviously.
Okay.
And, so if my mum was my dad, I'd be Luke Nicolo.
You're proud of being in the Greek team of the century?
Absolutely. I was one of about 8 on the bench, Andy, and there's a few boys on the 18.
Have a look at this. This is a great team. We saw a photo there. Alex Marcoux, Ange Christou, Peter Dacos, Andrew Dimitru, Koutafidis,
Russell Morris.
Yeah, Russell Morris is in it. Spiro Malakalis. How Tony Malakalis missed out, by the way, is a disgrace.
Did Spiro make it and Tony didn't?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a quiet trip over the car for the boys.
But, it's a great team. You were named on the bench, but, you're still in the team. You're not the medical sub. You know, man, you're on the team.
I'm proud of my Greek AFL team of the century jumper, which is essentially a Greek flag with the Southern Cross. It's one of the best jumpers ever invented, I think.
A beautiful jumper.
Have to donate it to charity at some point, I think. Maybe for the Royal Children's Hospital appeal.
Oh,
That would be a great thing to do.
Yeah, the least you could do, I would have thought. I want to say this too, by the way. You've gone on to a storied coaching career that is not even
history.
That is not even halfway through. It's like it's going to go on forever. But
unbelievable.
I say this to you. I think it's lucky that coaching took off because, and I say this sincerely, I don't think media was going to be your friend, judging on by this this little spot you did for Channel 7 on the boundary line.
And we can welcome Luke Beveridge, who's joined us on the boundary, and he'll be there all afternoon.
G'day, Drew. How you going?
It looks like you just turned up to watch the game and someone's given you a microphone.
Do you remember that?
No.
so you wouldn't know what their plans for you were at the time?
I think I just chose to forget that.
So you've lived a life. I mean, you're coaching, you found your place and you're brilliant at it, and we'll have a chat to you about that. But you did a whole lot of other stuff other than just playing and coaching. You worked in the taxation office, you worked for Austrac anti-money laundering, you did some counter-terrorism work. I mean, you've lived a life, haven't you?
I was gainfully employed in the public service for a little while, and actually the ATO put me through university, which I was grateful for. Yeah. But actually, at the end of my career with the Saints, was my last club. At the end of '99, the game was just swinging full time, and I think I was probably the last one on St Kilda's list who had a full-time job.
Right.
Actually, the pre-season before my last year, Tim said, "Look, we're going to do 3 weeks full time," so I took my 3 weeks holiday leave. And then he said, OK, we're going to do another one. I took my 4th week. And he said, we're going to do another one. And public servants don't get, or you might think they get 5 weeks leave. But I went up to him and I said, Tim, I've got no leave left. And he said, well, you do what you need to do, son. And I knew at the start of that year I was finished.
You did a bit of counter-terrorism work, and it's my understanding you did a bit of undercover work too. Let's have a look. Here you are, undercover. Actually, no, sorry, that's the stripper from the Gold Coast. Who started the COVID? That's a good undercover. That's the best undercover look since Malthouse's when he was undercover.
Pierre.
Yeah, it was.
Mine was a Chopper Reed impersonation.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. When did the seed start to shoot that you wanted to be a coach? When did that start happening? you remember?
I was fortunate enough to coach the boys down at St Bees Mentone, and I originally just went down there just to take them for a pre-season. I wasn't going to coach them. Russell Barnes, who was the coach of the day, invited me down, and towards the end of that first year in 05, we were pretty ordinary, and we were getting relegated from B to C, and I then committed to coaching the boys the next year, and we had some enthusiasm around that, and I ended up playing the next year and coaching. And then, as those next 3 years rolled on, I developed a bit of an appetite for it, and I was really fortunate that we had some success. And
well, it was back-to-back premierships.
Anybody who knows Ammo footy in Victoria knows how hard it is to win flag CBA 3 years in a row. That's a really difficult thing to do. So it's clear, whatever you're doing, it's clearly working. You get picked up, you go to Collingwood, you do some development coaching there, but then you end up at Hawthorn, and you're surrounded by some great football minds. I mean, the story that has emerged from a coaching perspective out of this box, there's some great footy IQ and acumen you're part of that box. There's yourself, there's Chris Fagan, there's Clarko, obviously, Adam Simpson, Brendan Bolton, Brett Ratton. There's
David Hardwick
was there.
Did you know at the top?
Cameron Bruce and David
Ruth. I mean, there's some.
Ruth's there.
We ran out of numbers, mate. So. The graphics department ran out of numbers. But did you know? Could you tell at the time that box was just filled with football powerhouses when it came to the strategy and brain power?
Oh, they were all great men to work with. They were, valuable contributors in whether they were coaching a line or, Rathi was doing stuff behind the scenes with some analytics, and I felt like it was a cauldron of ideas and influence, and I think Clarko appreciated that support as well. I mean, at the time, who would have known that any of us would go on and coach our own clubs in our own right, but there's no doubt that they had great relationships with the players, and we're very fortunate to be part of that period.
It's great. It's a good box. Great to have a bit of horsepower in the brains department. You weren't so lucky in your box. Let's have a look at your mate Archie in the background. Try and take the lid off a text to pen in the background that's already off. And Archie. I'm not sure you've got the same level of backup that Clarko had in his box.
Well, I like a pink highlighter. I always ask him to test them, and the ones that don't taste too good don't work too good.
Hey, Bevo, don't go anywhere. There's a load more stuff we want to
hang about.
Beveridge, our very special guest. It is the front bar. Thanks to the brewery, Fresh Carlton.
Yeah.
Couple of scenes from the great documentary that Adi Brown, our producer here, put together, The Outside.
Look at that.
2016 year. Bevo, I know you move on pretty quick. Luke Beveridge, our special guest. I know you move on pretty quickly in footy and the challenges keep coming, but that scene will never be repeated because of the concerts after the game. It's special.
This is a huge moment in AFL history.
Do you reflect much on how this felt and the sense of satisfaction and relief you got?
Not so much these days, Andy. No, we're on a different crusade now, and actually my son was talking about it tonight. My youngest son Noah, and he's still, caught up in it a little bit, even though it's a long way down the track. And I said to him, look, at some stage, when I'm a bit older, I might reflect a bit harder, and it means something different. Yep. But no, I'm firmly looking ahead. And
you feel like it's brewing? You feel like you're back in the hunt?
Round 2, Mick. Round 2. Yeah, just round 2 at the moment.
He's trying to work out the contenders, Luke. He knows he's part of the
Bulldogs
team.
Bulldogs are good, and
Tigers touched us up by just under 10 goals at Metricon last year, so we've got a bit of ground to make up.
We'll get to that later, but I think you're right back in it.
I've got a half-serious question.
Serious contender this.
I've got a half-serious question. Just on that premiership was 2016. How many years grace do you think a premiership gives a coach? Because I seem to somehow recall at about 2018, it felt like you were in trouble.
Yeah, I was.
Did you won a premiership a year and a half earlier?
Yeah, I think everyone just thinks you're lucky and it's a fluke, and they don't realise what goes into it, which is fair enough with people who don't really understand the business and what actually goes on, and the emotion and the build-up and even just your program and what our people have done, and obviously the players first and foremost. But I've been so fortunate, you know, to work with all these. I'm off on a tangent now, aren't I?
I love it when you go off on a tangent.
But what I loved and what was so important was, to me, it showed every other team that the fairy tale still can come true. Up until that point, it had been Geelong and Hawthorn, these established sides, and there was this idea that you just couldn't win one from back in the pack or from down near it. And like that year, I mean, we won one the year after, and all of a sudden, everyone's... Well, I can vaguely remember it.
How many more of you had since then?
I think
but it was so important.
Yeah, we probably had a unique brand and snuck up on the competition a bit like St Bede's Mentone did, and then the Tigers copied it and won.
Hey, Bevo, we've got...
Did we ever?
And did it better than us.
And we're still copying it.
Bevo, what do you think? What do you think of the hair, by the way? What do you think he should do? There doesn't seem to be a plan here.
Yeah.
We're 3 weeks in.
We're all going a bit thin. I mean, Mickey's a handsome man.
Thank you.
You probably lost a fraction of that though now, mate, I reckon.
Is it true you cut your own hair?
I still do.
Oh.
Yeah.
He cuts his own hair?
I haven't got time to go.
With a mirror? Do you use a mirror?
Yeah. If a bit's sticking out, you just chop it off. It's pretty easy. It's not like that.
It's pretty extraordinary.
Would you cut anyone else's hair, or is it just for you?
I could probably do Andy's.
What would you do with it, Bevo? What do you reckon?
I'd probably get the number 2 out. I'd get
Hey, I wanted to ask you this. You're a premiership coach. Coaching themes. Do you use movies in terms of motivating your troops? I just wanted,
Is that a question?
They bet me that I wouldn't use the word troops. But is it true that you use movies and themes to get the boys up?
I've used all kinds of metaphoric links, I suppose, over the years. Some movies,
what movies?
literature, some books.
What movies?
This is loaded, isn't it?
No, we're just
chat about. Chat about movies.
Just give us one.
Oh, look, I think, geez, if I'm telling a story, I mean, the most obscure theme that I ever ran was the 22 primary tarot cards at St Bede's. We'd gone up into B section. I haven't been put up this, by the way. We used to. The boys that I coached there, you know, were amazing young men, and they were so left field in their thinking. And maybe this day I took it, you know, further left. But I assigned one of the 22 tarot cards to each player. Starts with 0, which is a fool, and it goes to 21. 13 being, I think, the death card, but they've all got a positive spin on them. There's a negative and a positive spin. So
death card.
I worked
the
the
death
positive
card
spin.
No
That was Jimmy Tyquin, young James Tyquin. James Tyquin was death, and so we had a good laugh. And we were 7 goals up. With about 8 minutes to play in the last quarter, and Brighton kicked 6 goals in about 6 minutes, and we fell in by about a goal. So if we had got rolled, it wouldn't have been the greatest theme of all time.
Tarot cards again.
And what about a movie? Give us one movie that you've used.
Movie. Have you got one on your mind?
No, there was Charlie. There's the famous one, Charlie in the Chocolate Factory. I remember seeing this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the scene at the end of the movie where the big test for Charlie is to take the everlasting gobstopper with him, you know, or hand it back, and it was about honesty, you know. But it wasn't.
I would have woofed that gobstopper.
Pretty emotional.
Rocky 6. I usually use Rocky 6. Is that true?
Well, look, I don't think there's a coach that maybe hasn't used the Rocky movie at some point.
The Notebook. You used the Notebook. Oh, you did. You used the Notebook.
No, you have.
Have I?
So I would have thought you would have used...
asked your boys about that.
What
I
about
think you would have
dementia
used
and
Eat, Pray,
Alzheimer's?
Love, maybe.
What about Notting Hill? Do you love Notting Hill? What about that scene when you're in the bookstore and she's standing there? You talk about honesty.
Would you ever use the Bridges of Madison County?
Eva, you talk about honesty, though. When Julia Roberts is standing in that bookstore and she says, I'm just a girl, standing in front of a boy, asking him to love her. Jeez, I wish I had a tarot card right now.
Well, there's 1,000 other things we wanted to talk to you about, but time's on the flight. Maybe we'll get you
can win it
next time
this
if
year.
you'd ever say yes to us
They're
again.
in the hunt. They are
good luck to your
great
doggies.
team.
You made a terrific start. There's more to build on. Thanks for coming on the show.
No, that's not how you say goodbye to Luke Beveridge
neat.
on a TV show. Look and learn once again from the master, Gary Lyon.
Okay.
Just before we finish, you're also a little bit of a surfer, Lukey, and as I say, the girls, you're pretty popular with the girls. Is the surfing good for your football at all?
Yeah, it is, Gary. Actually, it helps you get used to the cold a little bit in the winter when you get out in those cold winter days.
What's more dangerous, do you think, surfing or playing football?
Oh, I'd say definitely playing footy, mate. Yep.
And what's more fun?
Oh, playing footy, Gary.
Okay, well, there you have it. Luke Beveridge, the surfing footballer, very popular with the girls and I'm sure with the young kids too.
One dog, one bone since I was 15, boys. So Gary's telling lies.
I can see why you're popular with the girls with that sparkling personality, mate. You know, that was unbelievable.
We didn't get a chance to talk to you about the current Dogs enough, but you can go all the way this year. That's a really talented side. So.
Yeah, well, it's Richmond and then there's a big queue, Mickey. So we're in the queue.
You're right in the hunt.
queue.
It's a great team. They're looking good.
Thanks for coming on. Good luck for
Good
you.
on you, Luke.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Luke Beveridge, our very special guest. We wish him